Carr. Unconditional forgiveness. Unconditional forgiveness. Mike Carr.
I got into the car on Christmas Day and we took off. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, I was not driving. She was driving. And oh, she was mad. But she had a right to be. My friends, the moral to this story is that there is no unconditional love without unconditional forgiveness. That driver was my wife. And the story of how I ended up in this racing vehicle began one day before Christmas Eve. It was 1995 and I had been really busy. I had been meaning to shop for my wife for Christmas for months, but here we were the day before Christmas Eve and I had nothing. So I went running through the office calling, "Hey, does anyone have a catalog?" Someone did. I opened it and found one of those wine necklaces from the 90s. This is just as they were going out of style. But it looked great to me, and they had overnight delivery, so I swung by the office the next day to pick up my gift from FedEx, and I headed home for Christmas Eve. That night, we put the kids to bed early, and my wife Julie and I sat down in front of a roaring fire. She said, "I want to give you your Christmas present." Apparently for a year, she had been watching the kinds of gifts I admired, and so when she handed me this beautifully wrapped box, I opened it and found a pair of silver cufflinks engraved with my initials. I was thrilled. And she said, "Now it's my turn." I went over to my briefcase and I pulled out an unopened FedEx envelope and handed it to her. With an odd look, she opened the envelope, reached in, and pulled out a little clear baggie, holding it up to a firelight. I could see the necklace was made of plastic. She slowly put the necklace back in the envelope and quietly went to bed. Thought, I wonder if something could be wrong. We got up the next morning and got in the car to go to my parents for Christmas. And she took off! I mean, she went from 0 to 60 faster than I could say, "Costume jewelry!" That's when I realized I needed unconditional forgiveness. But it was about to get worse. We got to my parents' house, opened the front door, and there stood my mother crying. "Oh, Michael, you have to come and see what your brother-in-law got for your sister for Christmas. He got her the most beautiful necklace." My brother-in-law had been paying for dental school, and so they had decided no money for Christmas presents. Instead, for months, he had been saving all of the extra shavings of gold left over after filling gold teeth. And then he had carved out a little mold of a Schnauzer puppy, my sister's favorite dog. He melted down the gold, poured it into the mold to create this beautiful little Schnauzer charm. And then, my mother cried, "This is my favorite part." He did not eat lunch for 3 months so he could save money for a modest chain on which to held the little Schnauzer beautiful charm. Oh, my mother cried, "It's just so wonderful." So, Julie, what did Michael get for you? I looked at my wife. And I could tell. I was dead. And I deserved it. see, it hadn't just been this necklace. And it hadn't been the last several months. There had been 2 years that I had been thoughtless and insensitive and too focused on things that did not walk or breathe or hold my hand. I deserved whatever pain was coming next. So, Julie, what did Michael get for you? That question still hung heavy in the air, and Julie's face was red. But instead, she pulled back her collar and said, Michael also got me a beautiful necklace. She saved me. Have you ever landed on the soft side of unconditional forgiveness? I learned something that day that I would like to pass on to you now. How many of you are like me and are perfect? None of us are. We all require forgiveness, and so we all should be ready to extend forgiveness at every opportunity, especially to those we love. My friends, there is no unconditional love without unconditional forgiveness. Julie and I walked away from my parents' house that morning, and we got back in our car. I looked at her and I said, thank you. I am really sorry. She reached up and she touched my face. She said, it's okay. I forgive you. And don't ever let that happen again.
That concludes area case 64.